Whenever I set a goal, my whole life just becomes this overcommitment, over-analysing and giving every single thing that I've got. Every morning before I start my day and at night before I go to sleep, that's the main thing that's on my mind. How can I move the needle forward? What do I need to do to get closer to that goal? That's one of the reasons why we can achieve big things.
Good morning, folks. Last big session of the marathon block this morning. We are up bright and early for sunrise. Plan is get to the gym at a reasonable time before it gets too hot. So let's do that. Sometimes you just can't beat porridge, honey, bit of salt in there to balance out the sweetness. So good. Could barely sleep last night. I always get the anxiety before harder sessions and the early starts, and then when I don't fall asleep as early as I'd like, that just spirals into I need to sleep, I'm not going to get enough sleep, my alarm's going in 6 hours, my alarm's now going in 5.5 hours. Yeah, it's a bit of a stress, but on the menu today, 24 kilometre long run with 5 kilometres marathon pickup towards the end. 1 to 3 at 5 pace, bit of a warm up. 18 I think at 4:40. 5 kilometres at marathon pace or marathon effort, and then a bit of a cool down at the end. So I quite like these progressive ones, and I don't mind doing them on the treadmill as opposed to just a long easy run where it's just a constant pace throughout and pretty slow. They're a bit more mentally challenging, so if you do it on the treadmill, reason being the weather here, to try and avoid some of the heat and humidity, although even inside the lack of airflow it is still very difficult. I'm gonna finish eating this, hopefully go to the toilet, and then we will be on our way. This is the stack: carbs, electrolytes, protein.
$25Ks in the bank. Oh, that felt good. Big confidence boost. Last big session done. Tomorrow is 2 weeks until game day. Felt good to get that one done, and it felt comfortable throughout, even when I was pushing the sort of marathon efforts toward the end, which were around like 4:08, 4:10, which is good considering the heat and humidity here and the lack of airflow. This is the aftermath. So I done 3K, ran to the toilet quickly, and then it was 14 at 4:40 per kilometre pace, and then it was 5K at marathon effort 4:08, 4:10 and around that, which felt good. Heart rate was steady, and then I finished with a 3K cool down. So very happy with that one. But I am absolutely soaked.
Oh, no, thank you.
Thank you. It was good to get that one done because I didn't sleep great and I was expecting my heart rate to be a lot higher. Even during the marathon efforts, I think it only got to like 170, and that's because I sort of sent it at the end. I think I finished at like a 406 or something, but finally one of the marathon workouts went pretty decent.
Went good. Yeah, I mean, if you can hit that, you just got to remember, like, 4 months ago, could you do that? No way.
Yeah.
So, like, we forget that. Like, that's good.
Yeah, so, but it's still hot. I was like saying to the staff, like, can you turn the AC up? And they were just like, it just doesn't get to the treadmill. So
It was so hot everywhere, though, like, because at like 7:30 outside was cooking. That doesn't help either.
how was your session?
It was good. Fucking, we couldn't find a toilet, like, get some water and stuff. And then we did 6K at 3:52. 1K, then 5K, 3:52. There was one in there that was like 49, but it was pretty much bang on, like 52, 54, 52, 54, one of those two. I could never do these sessions like a year ago. So.
For me, like, think about when we go to the cold, them 352, 355s, you're going to be cooking.
You're going to be cruising. I'm just going to go out around about 350 pace, and in the perfect world, I will get to 30 in control.
We are in for some TLC, just trying to keep the body healthy. So we'll be doing some lower body strength movements, hips, hamstrings, calves. Obviously we had the long run earlier, so I do like doubling up my strength work with my harder running days. So any sort of threshold or sort of interval sessions or any long run, just so that the hard work is condensed. So the plan will be to take full rest day tomorrow, and then I can get back into some running on Monday, as opposed to me putting off the strength until tomorrow, and then there's still going to be that lingering fatigue Monday and even Tuesday. Let's do it. Just start with some breathing work, mainly just to get the rib cage into a bit of a better position, free up some range of motion in and around the hips, and it's just a nice way to start the session. So I've got my fingers on my side of the ribs, and what I want to feel is when I'm inhaling, I want to feel them expanding. Exhaling, I want to feel them sort of coming down but also in, so as if my fingers at the side are getting closer to each other. People see me lying on the gym of the floor all the time doing these, but this is a great movement for the hips. Sideline scissor slides, so it's just trying to get the sort of pelvis. So the goal is to slide the knee as far forward as possible, but also pressure down. And then the same on the way back, so you're sort of putting that back, and you will feel that in the hips. Like mine is quite tight, but this is a really good movement to do even before a run, but definitely before any sort of lower body strength movements. Just into some hinge work, so predominantly working the glutes here. This is a David Gray special. The idea here is I'm trying to get my head as far forward as possible, and obviously my hips and my bum back as far as possible. The problem The mistake people make when they're hinging is they push their bum back, and then the rest of the movement is coming from like spinal flexion, and they start bending their back, and then the glutes aren't even activating as they should be. So just go until your range, push my bum back, push my bum back, push my bum back, and then I'm about here, coming up, trying to get a nice strong squeeze and a good exhale at the top to some bent knee calf raises. Getting a bit of hinge work in this as well, but really the goal is to get a nice contraction at the top of the calf raise. 90-90 hamstring drill. Just trying to get into that upper hamstring. These are very fatiguing. Taking that heel into the box. So like also taking it down but also putting it back. Feel the hamstring activate straight away. This is a great one to do if you get pain in the front of your knee, like before, during, after a run, which is something that I've dealt with over the last few weeks in the marathon block, which is essentially like a bit of tendonitis in the knee. So this is a banded Spanish squat, isometric. I'm also going to pair these with some tib work. To some more isolated hamstring work. These are nasty. These sessions aren't easy at all. Hamstrings, calves, quads, on fire. We're finishing with some single leg calf raises. That'll be us. Out at the gap, food. What are we going to eat tonight? That is the biggest question on my mind right now. It's all about the choice of music. Japanese lo-fi, so good.
Sauna, ice, steam, on repeat. Much needed after today's session. More so just for the feel good factors, not even for the recovery capabilities as such. I just feel good after coming out of the sauna and the ice, and when you have something like this on your doorstep, you're going to use it. 20-minute sauna, straight into 2 minutes in the ice. Feels like you're on drugs. Not that I would know what that feels like. Endorphins on another level.
Rest day, so we are sticking to no caffeine today so that we can potentially nap later on this afternoon, but really just to keep cortisol and stress low. And that's something I used to do in the past and make the mistake of doing, was smashing a lot of coffee on rest days, because what else is there to do? Eats into recovery and doesn't allow you to get that proper rest and recovery that you're after. So top tip, rest days, stick to decaf, or at least try and limit your caffeine. Let's see who's waiting on me. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Sunday recovery with the boss.
Makasih, bro.
You don't sound that stressed today.
I have a bit more clarity, and I know I've sort of came to terms, like, I'll deal with the accommodation thing. My body feels good today, so I have no niggles after yesterday's session, which is always nice.
And also the session was good, so that gave you some confidence and positive thoughts, right? Instead of good to hear, my bro. I'm gonna go in and check your schedule now, and I have you on. You have rest or cross train on Friday, travel Saturday. Monday, tomorrow you run 8 to 10 with some strides. It's good if you can spend some more time with your marathon pace. Yeah, I think this is a good plan. Tuesday, 10 minutes LT1. Wednesday, a bit of recovery. Thursday, 12 kilometer with pickup.
Yeah.
And then you're off more or less Friday, Saturday, and then on Sunday again you run like an 8 to 10 easy and a few strides.
Be a bit conscious of not having too much time on feet and having 40,000 steps in 3 days leading up to the marathon. And just like that, the training is done. The taper begins this week. A big feeling of relief after getting that last session done, and it was a good one to sign off with because we come out the other end of it. I was able to hit the paces, I felt comfortable, whereas The previous marathon session that I did attempt was a disaster and did hurt the confidence a bit during the peak weeks and probably a week or two before it, as my volume was starting to get higher and higher, as the intensity was increasing as well, and also with a couple of things going on personally with the apartment that I'm living in and potentially having to move places. I was run down with a cold and flu, and I had to sort of pull back on a lot of my sessions, and of course with there only being a couple of weeks until the race, there's pressure on me to complete these sessions, because if I don't, an already difficult training schedule, then stress is already through the roof, and when you add them other things on top of that, it is difficult, and I probably wasn't matching them stressors in life and in training with adequate recovery, with adequate sleep. So I found myself, like, my sleep has never been worse the past few weeks. I have borderline developed insomnia. That has been frustrating because then I've had to pull back slightly in certain sessions because I haven't got enough sleep. And there has been a few niggles picked up along the way, which I have been lucky to shrug. Some tendon issues were cropping up. I was getting some knee pain. I was getting some Achilles pain during part of the training block, and everything that potentially could have went wrong was going wrong. But a lot of lessons learned. And again, just trying to remind myself is that I do this for fun and it's my choice to run, and also that I'm grateful that I can do that. And of course there is anxieties there. I've never ran 42 kilometers in my life. I've ran 2 half marathons to date. So obviously all these questions come into my head. What is going to happen after the 30 kilometer mark? How am I going to feel on race day? Am I going to be able to run at that pace? A lot of these questions have been going on in my head for the past few weeks, and I'm sure that that is only going to get worse as we come closer to the marathon, which is in 2 weeks today. The pressure is real, and I do plan to use that to my advantage. At the end of the day, yes, I've set the goal to run sub 3. If I don't, it will still be a PB either way. I will book the next one and then shoot for a better time. It's funny because this time last year, I don't think I'd ran further than maybe like 5 or 10k. And if anyone asked me, do you want to go for a run? It was the last thing that I wanted to do. And then around a year ago, I decided that I wanted to get out of my comfort zone a bit, to see what my body was capable of and do something that was uncomfortable. Now it's something that I probably think that I can't live without. It became a big part of my life because of the structure that it has brought, how difficult it is to see them progressions, do you know what I mean? And how minuscule the changes are, and it's them sort of daily actions done repetitively for you to be able to see a small bit of progress. But now it's just about backing myself, knowing that the hard work has been done. Really, it's just about trying to keep stress low, trying to keep recovery in a good spot, trying to keep the tools nice and sharp so that we can run fast on race day. But there is no gains to be made from here until the race, so it's operation stay healthy, stay fresh, and get plenty of carbs in. So yeah, just really excited to go to Japan and experience the food there, the culture. From what I've heard, it's one of the best places that people have traveled to, and I've heard very, very good reports. I've already pinned so many places on Google Maps that I want to eat at, the coffee spots that I want to visit, some of the baked goods stores, as a couple of my mates are running Osaka Marathon, which is on the Monday, so we're going to stay in Osaka for a few nights, and then we will do a bit of travelling en route to Tokyo, and then I think we will arrive in Tokyo on Thursday, which gives us a couple of days before the marathon, which is on Sunday. 2 birds, 1 stone, a bit of travel and obviously running the marathon. If you made it this far, I would love if you could like and subscribe. There will be plenty more content coming soon. Stay tuned for the Japan vlog, where we will try and document before the race, during the race, and just my travels when I'm there. Let's see what we can do.